Alright, this recipe is pretty simple. Get your ground beef, no matter what. I use 73, but you can use 80-20, whatever. Boil you some water. That way your pot gets hot and don't actually burn it. You're gonna need a solid base. This here is tomato soup. I normally use actual just tomato paste, but all I have is a giant can, and I'm not gonna pull out a giant can. So tomato soup will work. It's just the base. Next, you're gonna need some green beans, 3 cans, at least for what I make. Whole kernel corn. Now you can mix this with sweet corn. You can put whatever you want. I prefer this because it mixes with the meat better. Then your meat that you're gonna put in, don't worry about this. This is another side project. But some extra virgin olive oil. I usually run. You can use any oil you want. I just try to stick with something. And this is like $10 now. So enjoy all of the inflation. 17 ounces for like just about $7. So okay, time to get started. And if you do like I do, you could also use long grain rice. You can use jasmine rice, whatever you want. But this is another thing you could throw in with the meat. Of course, you have to cook this separately. Boil it, make it like you normally do. Throw this in with the meat on the very tail end of it whenever you're doing your seasonings. So yeah. So throw this in there. Let it cook. Use this exact amount you want. I usually cut this in half, about 2.5 pounds. Call it good. All right, as you can see, it's all brown. Go till it's brown. That water you got on the bottom there, mix with the oil or grease that comes off of this meat, keep it from sticking. And if you get a higher, I would say higher grade, that's above this, your 80-20, that's when you really need to add the oil, man. Keep that from sticking. As for seasonings, you can put pretty much whatever the hell you want. And this one, I always put Italian seasoning, but I usually put a pinch of these two, man. I don't really go all out on that. But must, chopped onions. You can use them complete all season. I put this and this in place of meat tenderizer. That's usually the #1 thing. Garlic powder, garlic salt, whatever, or steak. But either way, once you get to this point, you're gonna get ready to add your veggies. Then you're gonna start hitting it with this. Don't start dumping out. Don't start dumping out none of the juices from when you're cooking it. It's gonna look kind of like a stew, or like a soup. But don't trip on that, because it's gonna work out. Trust me. So we got them two. We're gonna wait for this to equalize. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna put. Get in there, man. There we go. Just don't waste no food around here. Trust me, man. You don't get my size by wasting food. So throw all that. Now you don't have to use this. Like I said, you can use whatever corn you want, but these are the ones I normally use. I said I'd use 3 cans, but 2 should be sufficient. I just want to give you an idea of what 2 look like with 2.5 pounds of meat. Now, once we put a cover on this and we let this kind of simmer, it's gonna do its thing. And what's gonna help bind that is going to be your tomato paste, this right here. So you could add this first to your meat if you want, so that way it collects all the seasoning. To be perfectly honest, man, I do it both ways. Pause just on that. And you can use tomato soup, you can use ragu, whatever. You Prego, whatever you want to use. Any kind of tomato. So you throw this on there, and then in real tough times, if you really have to, you can use wolf chili. Done that before. And you could also use like manwich, that kind of stuff. But anyways, I usually put this first, but just for the sake of, let's say you don't have this, you mix that together, that's more than enough right there, man. That'll get you through the week. So, you know, times are tough, and we're gonna have to go back to the old days, man, when we didn't have a whole lot of money. So that's kind of why I'm doing some of these. So drop the temperature, let it simmer for a good 5-10 minutes, and then that's it. Should be good to roll. Now, if you want more of a base, you could, like I said, this is the part where you add your rice, or you can get noodles, whichever one, like ramen. You can throw that in there, let it boil while it's doing this. If you use long noodles like spaghetti, or what is the other thing, linguine, angel hair, whatever, whatever you got that's on special that you can get a big old box for like less than $1. Break it up in good sections like you do for the ales. Throw them in there. Anyhow, so this is the, yeah, I went all fancy, I know, but I just throw some noodles in there. Like I said, turn the heat up a little bit. Once this is boiling, it'll do what it's supposed to do. Soften up all the veggies underneath as well. And yeah, I definitely thicken up. Alright, so it'll stop simmering. Still plenty of heat. You'll know that this is done when your noodles are done. So noodles are soft and squishy. And you see that a lot of that water is gone. Now, I didn't add any extra paste like tomato paste or anything. I just had that one can. And you see that it has now filled up this whole pot now that the noodles have done what they're supposed to do, soaking it up. So